Ryan Clark does Ryan Clark things. The hypocrisy of Ryan Clark just gets bigger. Ryan Clark continues to expose himself on ESPN as the hypocrite that he truly is. Clark continues to play the race card in ways that nobody else at ESPN can imagine. But this is the bullshit that Ryan Clark espouses. My problem with Clark is, what does that mean? Ryan Clark doing Ryan Clark things. What does that mean? That means he is using racist language. Wasn't racist language and coded language, wasn't that all a thing back in the day? Wasn't that like, I can tell he said that's coded? Oh, shut up, all of you. Now, Ryan Clark continues to expose himself on ESPN as the hypocrite that he truly is. My problem with Clark isn't that he's a hypocrite. My problem is that he's dumb. I mean, his takes are dumb. His speech is dumb. And again, I'm sure that's racist coded language because we have never, ever, ever said that about a white guy. Oh, stop it, stupid. Ryan Clark's an idiot. Hey, but you got to give him credit. People talk about him. You got to give him credit. ESPN puts him up there on stage. You got to give him credit. He has maintained through all of this. I think we all know why, but Clark continues to play the race card in ways that nobody else at ESPN can. Imagine a white dude being so ridiculous as Ryan Clark. They would have been fired when the words came out of their mouth. But we understand it. We do. We understand the world that we live in with the ilk. I love that word, ilk, of Ryan Clark's racism. One side can do it. The other side even mentions the word black. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Say Somalian and cheating in the same word. Oh, they come at you. Bullshit. You Somalis, quit stealing our money. There, I said it. I don't give a damn whether you think I'm racist about it or not. Back to Ryan Clark. He continues to play the race card, and, of course, it's directed at a white quarterback. The hypocrisy of Ryan Clark just gets bigger, and I am here for it. The little stupid, as we refer to him. He's not big enough to be the big stupid, although I would say he did hit like a truck when he played football. Anyway, here's Clark saying that if, or when, I guess, the Buffalo Bills lose, it is all on Josh Allen.
And probably since about the divisional round in 2021, Josh Allen has lived in this bubble that you couldn't criticize him. And if you criticized him, you were wrong because of what he did in that divisional playoff round, because of what we've seen during the season. If he loses this game, it's on him. I'm not going to care if James Cook doesn't play well. I'm not going to care if Shakir drops balls. I'm not going to care if they can't stop the run. I'm going to care that Josh Allen is the best player left playing in football right now, and he couldn't will his team to win. We have seen the greats drag teams who aren't supposed to be Super Bowl champions to Super Bowls, and there are no other greats in the AFC playing right now. So Josh Allen has to show up in this game, and the support system has to raise its play, or his play has to raise theirs.
Or we're going to have to talk about him differently, in your estimation.
I think at some point, we're going to have to say, okay, Josh, we know what you've done in the past. We believe you've shown up in other situations, but they needed you to show up this year, and you didn't show up in the way that allowed them to keep playing. Okay.
Name me one player that lifted mediocre others to a Super Bowl. Name me one. You can't. You can't name one. Like, you can make one up, but at that level, name me one player that lifted everybody to a Super Bowl. I'll sit back and wait. A Super Bowl. I'm not saying a victory over the Indianapolis Colts in the middle of November. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying to a Super Bowl. Name me one. I mean, you want to tell me Ray Lewis on the defensive side? No, he didn't, because you got really good play on the other side. There is none. But this is the bullshit that Ryan Clark espouses under the guise of analyzing NFL football. I mean, I'll give you a guy, but he had a lot of help. Lynn Swann in the 70s made catch after catch after catch, but that's just a guy doing his job. You can't name one, but nobody wants to check him on this. I'll hang up and listen. Did Eli Manning? I don't know. That catch in the middle of the field off the head, I don't know. Did Tom Brady lift everybody to a Super Bowl? I don't know, man. That defense, when you look back at it, was pretty damn good. The answer is no. See, on one hand, guys like Clark will say it's the ultimate team sport. On the other hand, I don't care what the black guys do. If the white guy doesn't play well, it's the white guy's fault. And you can criticize me all you want for saying that, but everybody understands that's exactly what this racist posse is saying. There's not one Super Bowl champ that has been, quote, lifted entirely by one player. You cannot name one and make a rational argument. You can name one and make a racist argument. You can name one, and if you are on the side of Ryan Clark, mostly racially, you'll go, yeah, well, he's right. Oh, yeah. No, you can't. No. And everybody understands it. You can in a basketball game. Some guy hits 9 threes, and next thing you know, everybody's losing their mind. But you cannot in a football game, not at the Super Bowl level. So this is typical Ryan Clark. I'll use your all's words, coded racist garbage. Now, that was before the Bills versus the Jaguars. The pressure is on Ryan Clark. The storyline is the creation totally of Ryan Clark. The pressure is on Josh Allen. The storyline is totally Ryan Clark being a racist. It began on draft night when old tweets. People say you can't criticize Ryan Clark again, or you can't criticize Josh Allen again. This is Ryan Clark bullshit. Of course you can. Remember draft night? Tweets from like when he was 12 started emerging, and the world lost their mind, except for the people that have rational sense, except for the people in that locker room. No, they tried. They did. And I'm using the word they. And if that's racial, then suck it. They, folk like Ryan Clark, tried to make it racial. Josh Allen against Lamar Jackson. That's what they did. And it's garbage, it's nonsense, and it needs to be called out. For reference, here's what Ryan Clark said when Allen and the Bills eliminated Jackson and the Ravens last year. You fought 8. Really? No. All right. Gave your team a chance. Had adversity in the first half, kept pushing. Did everything you had in the second half to earn extra minutes. That's the way it goes when it's good on good. This ain't on you. You showed up in the most important moments. He's either an ass kicker of Lamar Jackson or he is in line with an African-American quarterback. I'm an ass kicker of Lamar Jackson because I like the way he plays. I like the way he goes about his business. But Ryan Clark's full of shit and he's a racist, period. I mean, you can argue with me. You can call me names. You can go on a podcast. You can say whatever you want. But it's entirely, according to Ryan Clark, Josh Allen's fault. Entirely. And the black guys that he mentioned have no fault in this because they're not being paid to win a game. They're not good players. Is this another victim type thing from Ryan Clark towards African Americans? Does he not respect the African American ball player? No, he's a racist. And he's trying to pull down a white quarterback that is emerging as the best in the NFL. Does Josh Allen need to win a Super Bowl? I don't know. I suppose everybody needs to win a Super Bowl. But is it all Josh Allen's fault? Seems weird. Was it Lamar Jackson's fault when Mark Andrews dropped a 2-point conversion in his hands? Not according to Clark. But if the same thing happens, yes, it'll be Josh Allen's fault. All right, do you spot the difference? According to Clark, it was entirely, or it will be entirely Josh Allen's fault. But, of course, it wasn't Lamar Jackson's fault. No, it's total racism. I'm not even going to play games here and say things like spot the difference. Of course we spot the difference. Ryan Clark's a racist. And he spews racist bullshit every time he's on television. That's all I can tell you. Clark made similar arguments during the 2023 postseason after the Chiefs eliminated both the Bills and the Ravens in consecutive weeks. He blamed the white guy, Allen, for Buffalo's loss, but of course defended the black guy, Jackson, after Baltimore's loss. course, by declaring that the pressure is on Allen, the Lamar bros have set the table to both blame and belittle him no matter what happens. If the Bills don't win the Super Bowl, it's his fault. If they do, the Monday morning take machine will crank out excuses that it doesn't count because he didn't beat Mahomes, Jackson, or Burrow on the way there. Burrow's not even in this conversation. Anyway, there are 8 quarterbacks left in the postseason. Using Clark's logic, the following are under immense pressure. See if you know what they all have in common. Allen, Stafford, Bo Nix, Drake May, Sam Darnold, and Brock Purdy. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams and C.J. Stroud apparently face no pressure because, after all, football is a team sport. That's Bobby Barack. Well, I mean, let's just be honest. Ryan Clark and others at ESPN will claim it's racist. Oh, it's racist that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks of the 8 left that are white and only 2 that are black. I mean, that's the world we live in. That's racist. Idiots. All of them. Every one of them. Stone cold idiots. We managed to find a litmus test that Ryan Clark used to determine who is fault. All joking aside, you can't believe and shouldn't believe everything you see on the internet. And I want to preface this by saying it's a completely made-up quote. There it is. It's a completely made-up quote. Instead of the boy cried wolf, the man cried racism. There you go. We all know what this is about. If he was white, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's right. There you go. That's all we got. Ryan Clark took to X to shoot down the fake quoting being attributed to him. Sounds like a good time to remind y'all that folks just made up quotes as rage bait. No, that's the only reason you're talking on ESPN. You give no real analysis. You just race bait. Was in the hospital all day yesterday. I ain't said a word about Mike T leaving. If there's no video, no source to link to a show, it's a lie. Oh, okay, Slick. You lie every day. You race bait, rage bait every day. You're a moron and a racist that ESPN knows they need to get rid of, at least according to the people that I'm with at ESPN, that one of whom is black, by the way. You got to say that, right? But they can't. They might, though, if they bring in Mike Tomlin. Stay effing tuned. This racial stuff at ESPN really pisses me off. Why can't guys come on there and just evaluate? Like, white dudes can't go on there. They always have to be, did I say the right word? Did I not go the right word? Oh, my God. Or at least some. Most, all. And Clark can go on there and spew utter stupidity. Period. Utter stupidity. We'll give him a raise. God bless you. All right, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard. But in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops. Prize Picks lets you take control. Missing your fantasy team? My league's over. I came in last, but with Prize Picks, I don't have to wait until next year's draft to keep playing fantasy. Prize Picks lets you play fantasy every week, even in the playoffs. Pick your favorite players and win when they hit their projections every week. It's simple and it's fun. No draft required. Get in on the action. Prize Picks is in all 50 states, including my boy, T. Blinko, who gets to play in Georgia. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code DAKICH. That's Dakich to you morons. And use code Dakich to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineups. That's code Dakich, $50. I'm mumbling, stumbling, and fumbling today. 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineups. Prize Picks. Good to be right. I love this. I've said the NFL media are the laziest in professional sports. They're provincial. Like, I watch, and I did not know this until I started doing a radio show, 18, 19 years ago. I didn't realize how lazy the NFL media is. I didn't realize how lazy the NBA media is. NBA media, I kind of understand. It's a grind. You got 82 games of covering these clowns. But the NFL media is insanely lazy, insanely arrogant, and now insanely about themselves getting on television. They all want to be the new Nick Shirley. Anyway, Sean Payton came out firing. We talk a lot about press room decorum in the past week with Lynn Jones, who, by the way, handled everything perfectly. Now let's focus on a coach. I love the fact that Sean Payton fired back at a reporter who inquired about Dre Greenlaw coming back into the lineup ahead of their game against Buffalo. I know it's not right. I do. But I ain't mad at it because sometimes you're just tired. Here's Sean Payton.
Sean, having Greenlaw back for this game, his ability to attack downhill and in the run game, just how big is that and the timing of it for this one?
You want him to attack downhill? Is that your, like, what do you know about attacking downhill in the run game? You don't know. All right, that's right.
But
have him attacking downhill. It's good to have a healthy Dre Greenlaw back in the game. Yeah.
Their quarterback.
Here's what people don't know. A lot of times that reaction, and I don't know who that reporter was, and I really don't care, but I'll tell you what this is about. This is about that jackass that asked that question being negative about Sean Payton. This makes me like Sean Payton more because you're not supposed to, according to the world that we live in, fire back at reporters. Why not? Guy writes some crap about you, and I'll bet you this guy did. And you're not supposed to fire back. That's not how football coaches, basketball coaches, football players, basketball coaches, hockey players are built. They're just not. They're built to fire back. And I get it. Some pencil neck in a media room doesn't understand this, or somebody writing a column somewhere doesn't understand this. But it makes me like Payton more. It does. You know, Sean Payton teed off on that guy for a reason. Now, I don't know the reason, and frankly, I don't care the reason. It could be the slightest thing. See, the only guy, and I've said this many times, all of us that played or coached, all of us that got to a certain level, I never got to a professional level, but I got to a pretty high level for being a guy that couldn't touch the rim. We all have a certain something about us that motivates us. Mine went back to fifth grade through high school, where kids in fifth grade, two of them were elevated to a great sixth grade team that won 132 games in a row, and I wasn't. Mine, being a sophomore, that got two guys on my JV team, even though I was leading scorer, rebounder, and assist guy, got elevated to the varsity. Everybody's got chips on their shoulder. Everybody does, but only Michael Jordan gets praised for it, and that's bullshit. We all have vendettas. We all have in the back of our minds, this guy slighted me. This guy took a shot. Hell, I can tell you right now, and I go at it all the time. And everybody except for Michael Jordan gets the, well, you should be a bigger man. Oh, no. Michael Jordan, this is just a football coach. Michael Jordan was a captain of industry. Most consider him the greatest in his sport, a billion-dollar guy. But when he got in front of the world in a Hall of Fame speech, after he had done all these things, took shots at people that slighted him going back to high school. That's the reality. Now, everybody has them. Doesn't mean that everybody expresses them. You know what? Tough. 350 million people in the United States. Most of us think different than the other. I love what Sean Payton did. I do. Love it. Absolutely love it. Michael Jordan ain't the only guy that can get away with it. It's so funny to listen to people line up and bend the knee and wash the feet of Michael Jordan over slights, over comebacks. Bullshit. We all got it. And I love that Payton put one out there. Period. Go Broncos. Hey, while we're here, why don't you head on over? Seriously. YouTube.com/@don't@me with Dan Dakich. Like, comment, subscribe. That way you'll never miss any of our great content. And feel free to argue with each other in the chat. We get a kick out of it. We love it. We got friends from being in the chat. We're getting close to 10,000 subscribers. Can we make that happen within the week? All right, we got beef. Yeah, we got beef. We got Stephen A. Smith beef. He's become a tough guy. He's become a tough guy, but he's become a tough guy at fellow wokies. Huh? Jasmine Crockett and crazy-ass, flamed-out talk show host Joy Reid are in his sights. Yeah, Monday, Smith appeared on ABC News All Access show where host Lindsay Davis played him a clip of Joy Reid accusing him of accepting money from white people. Can you imagine? That's all these folks do. Who do you think runs these companies? White people. So why are you mad when white people give you money? Hell, I'll take money from white, black, green, purple. I don't give a damn. But Joy Reid apparently doesn't think that African Americans should take money from white people. What? She says he takes money from white people to say nasty things about black people. That's the level of conversation. That's it. That's the level. I understand that's the only thing that folks like Crockett or Joy Reid have. But Stephen A. Smith, to his credit, has been pretty good on both sides. I called him a useful idiot of the Republican Party, and that sounds like a criticism, but it's really not. He's been smart. Davis also showed a clip of Crockett from October during which the Congresswoman claimed Smith has a track record of attacking black women. Smith is fighting back. Here's Stephen A. Smith.
Jasmine Crockett has been invited on this show multitude of times.
Multitude?
You sitting down talking to everybody else. How come you ain't sit down and talk to me? Scared of what I'm going to ask? I don't know. I have no clue. But if you're going to say something like that about somebody, hell, say it to their face.
Yeah, I mean, but that's all well and good by Stephen A. Smith, but that's not what he does. That's not what he does. He doesn't say things to their face. He didn't say Drake May's a liar to his face. He went on TV and said it. So that's all garbage, but he gets away with it because he's Stephen A. Smith and he's black, let's be honest. He doesn't say anything to anybody's face. When he had a chance to say something to somebody's face, it was LeBron James, and he cowered. He cowered like Frank Kaminsky in a fight in the playoffs against Jimmy Butler. He shrunk, and he got embarrassed and went all over, then talked about how tough he was. No, Smith did not do that to anybody's face. He does not do that to anybody's face, but he can get away with saying, say it to their face because people don't check him. He also said the following, referring to Reid and Crockett, they should be ashamed of themselves. Where's your evidence? That's the answer. That's the answer. Where's your evidence that he takes money from white people to say nasty things about black people? I believe this is his own podcast. If he said things on ESPN, nasty things about black women, of course he's taking it from white people because white people run ESPN. For context, though, Smith criticized Crockett in October after she called President Trump a piece of shit. He later questioned whether Crockett was more interested in going viral than serving her constituents, which is a legitimate claim. But here's where Smith deserves criticism. Instead of standing by his mild comments about a sitting congresswoman, he folded when members of what he calls the black community challenged him. Days later, he apologized, calling Crockett a sister. Man, this shit's too funny. Such backpedaling is typical of Smith. Outside of ESPN, he's attempted to establish a career in political commentary focused on offering a moderate perspective. However, that approach has often drawn criticism from prominent black commentators. The problem is that Smith is trying to wear too many hats at once. There are inherent tensions between his attempts to play the moderate and his desire to be the spokesman for the race crowd, a group led by figures like Crockett, like Reid. So the question now is how long until Smith caves again? We don't have a lot of confidence that Smith will show much backbone. That's what he does. Anyway, even though Reid and Crockett have no validity to their arguments, they operate from the belief that black commentators should never criticize black people. Everybody does that. My two guys in Indy, Stephen Holder and what's his name, James Boyd. I've criticized white commentators, and they've shot back at me. Those two guys, they only shoot back, racist, racist. because they're morons. Anyway, unless those they criticize are black conservatives, of course, then it's open season. We know that. That's not how the world works, not how the world should work. An honest commentator should cover both black and white politicians with the same scrutiny. In fact, people who argue otherwise actually undermine black political figures, suggesting they cannot handle criticism. Well, they can't. They absolutely can't. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Black politicians, women black politicians cannot handle criticism. African-American sports writers cannot handle criticism. Stephen A. Smith can't handle criticism. I mean, he caves and caves and caves. I catch it every day. I just fire back. You want to call me racist? You can suck it. You want to call me racist for saying Somalians are stealing my tax money? You can suck it. Do whatever you'd like, but you can suck it. That's my new favorite word. No, it is. We'll be right back. Let's go. The Stinger, the damn awards. Bring in my boys here. We got to discuss. I love it. It looks so Oscar-ish. I feel like getting up there and defending Somalians and illegal immigrants. It's starting to close in. Did you see what happened with Timothy Busfield? Did you see what happened? Hollywood is starting to close in on the pedophiles that run that joint, or at least allegedly run that joint. All right, studs of the week. Here are my two studs of the week, Davey and Sean. Davey and Sean. Davey, I'm going to start with you. John Harbaugh resetting his clock. Got a young core. Word on the street is he's getting ready to sign with the Giants. Good move, Davey?
Yeah, he's the best coach available for any NFL team, Dan. I really like what he's going to have whenever he's got Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, and Cam Scadaboo on the offensive side. I think they're going to bring in Todd Monken as at OC. I really like how they're able to handle this moving forward in New York.
What do you think, Sean?
I'm lashing out at this. I hope it's a colossal failure. Just because I wanted him in Atlanta. I did. I wanted him. I hope that nothing good happens in New York. Scadaboo is going to come. Also, Scadaboo, how physical he is, how big he is, to take that lower body injury in his rookie year, he's not going to be the same guy. I hope he is. He was fun. He was great. That win over Philly was awesome. But he's going to come back at like 80% speed. That's too slow for the league. But yeah, it stinks. I really wish he didn't go there. But enjoy your 6 wins, New York.
This is why this is the greatest panel to have, because Davey, for those of you that don't know, is pragmatic and a lawyer. And Sean, he just uses the greatest terms ever. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what you just said to start with. Something about you're off on this, but you didn't say you're not. I don't know what you said, but do it again. All right, Ty Simpson, Sean, recently commented on massive NIL deal, $6.5 million allegedly from the U. Ole Miss involved Tennessee to enter the transfer portal, stating he ultimately declined because he valued his legacy and relationship with Alabama's coaching staff over money. He says he chose to stay loyal and pursue the NFL draft instead. If these numbers are true, number one, do you believe him, Sean? Number two, was he stupid?
You know what? It's tough because he's tried to do it the right way, the way that he saw probably all his heroes do it, stick it out, be a good soldier, have some loyalty to the program, try to become a legend at college, right? Maybe I'll be a statue guy. It's probably a little dumb. You want to protect your money, get as much money as you can. If he could stay at Alabama another year, he should, because whatever team is going to draft him, the Jets will ruin him. But yeah, I appreciate the honesty, and I appreciate him trying to do it the quote unquote right way.
Yeah, I don't know what the right way is anymore. I'm not going to lie to you. I really don't. I think the right way would be take $6.5 million from Alabama. Pony up, Bama. What do you think, Davey?
Well, as it relates to the mentality he has, I like that mindset of like, hey, I committed to this coaching staff. I committed to this school. I wanted to give them my all, and I don't want to – because that's the thing now. It's like if he goes to a rival like Tennessee, like the fan base at Alabama, they would hate him for the rest of their life. It doesn't matter what he did there. It's like you don't go and be the quarterback at your arch rival school. I do like the standpoint of – You talk about the money. I do believe the figures from Miami. Like, listen, they went out, they spent a lot on Carson Beck last year. It's got him in the national championship. Ty Simpson would have been the best quarterback in the portal. But you talk about the figures. Listen, if he's the second overall pick, that's $50 million guaranteed right there. So with Dante Moore yesterday also announcing he's returning to Oregon, Ty Simpson, now the number 2 quarterback on the board, I think is going to work out well for him in that regard. But he doesn't have enough college starts in my mind to think he's going to be successful at the next level.
All right, but let me ask you. He didn't commit, though, to Kalen DeBoer initially. No. Does that change it? All right, but does that change it? I get what you're saying about legacy, Davey, and I agree with you. I wholeheartedly do, particularly at a school like Alabama. But that does that change it that there was a coaching switch?
I don't think so, because nowadays you just want to see somebody be loyal to a program because it's so rare. And it's one of those things to where people are going to look back at. If you're Ty Simpson, listen, you look at all the other quarterbacks that Alabama's recently had, you're not going to be able to be better than them. You didn't win a national title. So what's something you can do that's different? You actually stayed. You committed to that program. So that's like one way that like he can kind of blaze his own trail in the modern era of college football.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. What you got, Sean? What do you think?
Yeah, it's about the program. I had offensive line coach for like 3 years, and they switched it up, and I didn't know if I liked the guy, but it didn't matter at the end of the day. I was still with my teammates, still with my buddies, and you know, you got along. If you're a coachable guy and you're a guy that likes and loves the sport, rather, it really doesn't matter who the coach is. You want to be close with him. Like I want to be tight with everybody, but that was never like, oh, I'm going here because of this coach is going to make me an NFL guy. My feet were too slow. It wasn't going to happen. I was there for the fun.
Losers of the week, and this is the jokes write themselves, really, Davey. Street clothes, the Dallas Mavericks. They made that trade. Street clothes, Anthony Richardson or Anthony Davis. Is he going to have season-ending surgery? Sounds like maybe he's not. Cooper Flagg got an ankle last night. No Derek Lively. No Irving. Are they cursed? Is there such thing? I think I was cursed at Bowling Green my last 5 years with injury. I'm going to go out and say it. I think the Mavericks are cursed.
They're not cursed. They just have dumb management whenever you make that trade for Anthony Davis in the first place. You know that's going to screw things up. I mean, you mentioned it too, Dan. I mean, I'm sitting here in a Duke shirt, and I think you just listed 4 guys that played there. But listen, like Cooper Flagg, he's going to be great. It just sucks that he's hurt right now. I mean, but they're not in a position to where they're going to be fighting for the playoffs anyway. So honestly, tanking and getting a higher draft pick at this point, given all their injuries and what they're not going to be able to overcome, it's like it sucks right now that you've invested what you have into this roster and you're not going to get anything out of it. But no, the Dallas Mavericks are not cursed.
Cursed, Sean?
Yeah, a little bit cursed. Texas doesn't feel like a basketball state to me. At least Dallas doesn't feel like a basketball city. I think there are better basketball cities you could move a team to. Put one in Baltimore. That there's so much basketball love in the DMV. Dallas feels like a football city. Maybe get the vibes different. It doesn't feel like
they won a championship. What are you talking about?
Oh God, who's watching basketball in Dallas? Texas is a football state.
I mean, just move everything out. Get rid of the Rangers. Get the Houston Astros out of there. Are we anti non-football sports there?
We can move them all. I think the Rangers and the Astros are all right, but I guess there's some good baseball products that have come out of Texas.
All right. This next thing has me saying how. Like, I don't understand the how. TJ Finley transferred. Apparently he's a quarterback, and I remember him somewhere, wherever he was at one point. Sean, he transferred to Incarnate Word in San Antonio, speaking of Texas and football. It's his 7th school in 7 years. Number one, how? And number 2, like, how do you trust this guy? How does a guy transfer 7 schools? How do you get 7 years?
He needs to get a job is what he needs to do. And good for Incarnate Word. Quarterback Factory in the FCS put out some good products. Developed Cam Ward up to be a pretty good dude. Get a job. Graduate. I'm sure you have at least one graduate degree.
I would think
he's probably working on 2. He could almost have a doctorate by now if he wanted to. If the credits are transferred over, what are we doing? There's a workforce that needs you, Mr. Finley. Enough of the college ball.
Yeah. What do you think, Davey?
I mean, from a college experience, I feel like that's terrible to go to a new school every single year. There's no continuity there. Listen, like I get you're getting to play football. I know at several of those schools he didn't, but I mean, gosh, this kid was like in high school before or in college before all the COVID stuff happened. I don't understand. You talk about the NCAA and how it's like, oh, we want to allow a guy to get a 5th year, and it's like, no, he's not eligible. It's like, well, this guy's over here on year 7 at his 7th different school. Make it make sense.
I can't. I absolutely can't. All right. Pete Hegseth said, we're not playing these silly games anymore, famously, and I've latched onto that like grim death, like a barnacle on the bottom of a ship. But let's check this out. This is the craziest story of the week. Senate hearing yesterday. I love Josh Hawley in these Senate hearings. He's got some Dr. Nisha Verma, and he's grilling the doctor on, can men get pregnant? This is a interview or a discussion or whatever you want to call questioning about abortion pills. Here it is.
Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question is.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics.
Absolutely.
So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
There are many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
Can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
Let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a doctor, I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
no, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert, and you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female with
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological.
You're not going to answer my question.
Biological
My God.
males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
Again, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask. I think it is extraordinary that we are here in a hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men.
I love that Holly just continues to turn it back. Davey, what'd you think?
So I looked it up. She's an OBGYN. I believe that takes roughly like 8 years to get a degree if you want to go all the way to that point. And we're boiling it down to having that kind of conversation and that lack of knowledge. It goes to show a lot of where we are whenever it comes to the political nature of this country and who's willing to just even admit the simplest of facts.
Honest to God. Sean, what do you think?
It's a great question from Senator Hawley. Great question. I had the same when I was 8, and then that was cleared up. We could be, men could have dumb questions about female anatomy and vice versa. But for the majority of people, it feels like that gets cleared up before you turn 12. And then you just go on with your normal life. And then for some reason, people have these worms that get in their brains around like 21. And then all that goes out the window. So it's just preposterous.
Let me ask both of you. And Davey, I'll go back to you. What would be so bad if the woman said, yes, biologically women are the only ones that can get pregnant. Men biologically cannot. What would be like, would there be rioting in the streets? Would she lose her license? What would be like, what would be the consequence of that?
Well, among her peers, she would actually take a step back because they would say like, oh, that's not actually true, because the way they try to get into the vernacular of it is like, you got to separate women from female. And so if she were to say, or men versus male, and she were like, well, I've got some patients that identify as men, but obviously we know they're female and they can get pregnant. So that they try to like fall back on that. So it's one of those things. She would take a huge hit within her community. And it honestly is, if I don't know how many patients she has, it can't be that many that, aren't just women that identify as women. She would be like, I could lose people that come to see me as a medical professional, which is just ludicrous.
Sean, let me ask you this. If you wanted to do this, take a camera, whatever, and call the local gynecologist and said, hey, I'm Sean, and I'm an adult male, and I need a gynecology appointment to check my stuff. What do you think the answer to that would be in New York or Nashville or wherever? What do you think the answer would be?
I think that they would go, excuse me? What stuff are you looking to? Is your wife? Is this you're trying to get your girlfriend in here to get something scanned? No, wait, what do you mean you want to get something scanned? That's not how it works, sir. And then because they're real people and they're working at a real office,
right?
Not on TV answering questions,
right?
The real people are just going to look at you like you're stupid,
right?
Because you're asking a stupid question and taking up their time,
right? But
for some reason, you get a person that's trying to defend their social credit, and then it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to answer this. I'm right. And it makes them look bad because all my whole life I've had great experience with doctors, professionals, pros, super cool. And then everything that's being put out, these people look like cartoon characters.
My wife worked in a gynecology office for a long time, and the dude, Brant Ludlow, that ran the great dude, played softball with him forever. He'd say, yeah, Sean, come on in, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you up on straps, and I'm going to stick things in your ass, and we're going to figure it out. Yeah. You would be the one that backed out of it real quick.
All right, here are the stirrups. You're going to feel a little cold. I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. All right, great story coming up. And Indiana University football makes no missteps. Whether it is Fernando Mendoza being interviewed or Fernando's brother Alberto being interviewed or any of the defensive players, in the city of Bloomington, Angelo Pons now has a pond named after him. And this is the latest example. Drew Schaus is an IU fan, and he was surprised with national championship tickets and a message from Indiana players. How about this? IU players informed 10-year-old superfan Drew Schaus he's going to the national championship game. Schaus has a rare heart defect and was matched with IU in 2023 through Team Impact, a nonprofit organization that connects children facing serious issues with athletic teams. That is one of the great organizations ever. That has put more smiles on kids' faces. I remember when all that started. Here's the IU player surprising Schaus with natty tickets.
Hey, Drew, we knew you were with us at the Rose Bowl, and there's no way we could go to the national championship without you.
Hey, Drew, we know you were in California at the Rose Bowl supporting us. We're going to need your support one more time.
Hey, Drew, Isaiah Jones here. And we know you were out there with us at the Rose Bowl, and we're heading to Miami, and we can't go without the heart and soul of our team.
What's up, little Drew, man? We know you was with us at the Rose Bowl, man, but look, we can't head into the biggest game of our career, man, without you, brother.
The Hoosiers and the Impact team are sending you to Miami. Come on.
So the Hoosiers and Team Impact are sending you to Miami.
Well, us and the Hoosiers and the Team Impact gonna see you out there to Miami, bro. We'll see you soon, man. Can't wait to see you.
So with Team Impact, we wanted to send you to the national championship. Look forward to seeing you there.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a big pussy. That makes me cry. It does. Those things make me cry. I'm right here. I swear to God. My wife will tell you, man, she'll look at me because you crying. I go, no, I'm not crying. You're crying. And I'll go like this. I'll blow up into my eyes, which I got to do right now. So people, I cry at everything. Dude, I think that stuff, I couldn't watch The Wizard of Oz ever because I cannot watch anything where kids get hurt. I can't watch movies where kids get kidnapped. I can't read a book. There was a Grisham novel where a little girl gets raped. I stopped it. I couldn't read it. I cannot do it. Period. I can't do it. But that's awesome, Davey. That's incredible right there, Davey. I love that.
No, those are the great feel-good sports stories, Dan, where it's like it's more than just the game. It's like what this will mean to this kid, which, by the way, they said he matched with Indiana in 2023. Like, I mean, that kid, like, that's the perfect time to come into being an IU fan. But congrats to him. I'm sure he's going to have a great time. But that's why we do this. You know, that's one of those moments in sports where it's more than the game itself.
That's right. What you got?
They do things right at Indiana. I felt it walking around there, felt it in the bars. It's a good energy. It's a good spot. And it's great because all these guys that are playing ball, they once had an athlete that was a hero of theirs. And even if they really formally acknowledged it or not, they felt that. And if you had the opportunity to ever do something where it was like working with the kids, we would go and read to freaking elementary schools and stuff like that. It felt good. It was a good thing to do. And I don't know if that's just because you're big and strong or fast. Doesn't matter to me. If it made the kids happy, that's all that mattered.
I was walking in, biggest game of my high school career, Gary Regional, man. Everybody packed. I mean, we drove up there. We're like, God dang, 9,000 seat gym at West Side. I'm walking in. There's two little kids, little African-American kids standing there. Hey, what are you guys doing? We want to get in, but we can't. I go, come on. They came in our locker room. My coach looks over. He goes, damn, what the hell are these two kids doing in here? I got they're fans. Put them on the bench. That's what you do. That's who you have to be. That's what absolutely needs to be done in sports. It drives me nuts that we make everything so difficult. I got fired from ESPN for a minute because I stole press passes for my son and two of his buddies, three of them, to go to Big Ten champion or a Big Ten tournament, and they got caught. Some jackass got mad, took the passes away. The commissioner of the Big Ten, Jim Delaney, he wanted me fired. I said, look, you guys can kiss my ass. I said, my son, we're getting divorced. That kid right there, his mom is dying of cancer, and that kid right there lost his dad 6 weeks ago. I said, you can kiss my ass. And I told the commissioner of the Big Ten and his sidekick, if I'm ever like you guys, I don't want to wake up. Just shoot me, because I don't give a shit about passes. They were like, we've turned down governors, and I don't care. I don't care. Little kids need to be taken care of. Little kids need to be encouraged. Little kids need to be supported, particularly where, things like that, a heart defect of a big sports kid, he can't play because of his heart. And so many others just piss away opportunities to play that are perfectly healthy. In fact, if you want to follow somebody on Twitter that is an absolute inspiration, Chicago Joe Doyle, son of Timmy Doyle, who's been on our show. He's with the NBA. He's been a friend of mine a long time. Chicago Joe is the toughest dude ever. Give him a follow on Twitter. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate you. Woke-a-dope. Woke-a-woke-a-dope. Without funding the fraud, how will our Somali daycare providers be able to install tampon dispensers in their little boys' rooms? Is there a bigger, what's the right word, poster child for the anti-man, the anti-should be in charge than Tim Walz? There isn't. Man, oh man, this dude is weak. I'll give him credit, though. I mean, it's obvious that he was either too incompetent or complicit in all of this fraud, but he keeps going out there every day and going at Donald Trump. Good for him. But is there a bigger douchebag? And I'll argue this. Has there been a bigger douchebag in the history of politics than that guy? I'm sure there has, right? Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, just ignoring a subpoena. Fine. They're in there. I got 2 words for you about no one is above the law. My ass. This dude should be doing a perp walk. Or at least he should be kicked out of office. But who are you going to replace? Jesus. Next. There they are. All together, Gavin and Timmy. How does this Omar still have a voice? Like, I understand the other two. They're just clowns. But how does this Omar, who has provided over, quote, and I'm quoting her people, billions of dollars of fraud, and she didn't know? Did you see what her net worth did? It grew more than anybody's other than Nancy Pelosi in the history of growth. And she still is out here in front. Do they have no shame? Do they have no morals? Do they have no backbone? Do they have no spine? Do they have no conscience? You literally presided over your people, defrauding the American people out of billions, to the point where now that it's exposed, all these LEANING centers, LERNIG centers are now closing down. She hasn't condemned it. She hasn't done the right thing. It's amazing to me, and same with Waltz. Gavin Newsom's on a whole nother level. His fraud, his deceit, his dishonesty, and his ineptness is off the charts. Next. Americans now living in fear they can be killed just for hitting ICE agents with cars. Imagine that. Imagine that. Hey, wait a second. Wait. We're hitting ICE agents with cars? No. What? And you guys are mad at me? Why are you mad at me? I mean, I don't know if you saw this, but the ICE agent has internal bleeding. And the first thing that came out after CBS News did this, well, internal bleeding can be anything. Okay. How about you don't hit people with your car after driving 6 hours and being indoctrinated to hurt ICE agents with your car? How about you don't do that? Weird. Last thing. You know, I understand, and I've always supported paying taxes. I have. I have never had a problem with it. In fact, I have arguably the most honest tax guy in the history of the world. But I'm done. I'm done being like, okay, I'll pay taxes. Somebody explain to me why we're paying taxes when I see all this fraud. Can you explain to me where our tax dollars goes? And I don't understand anybody, anytime, anywhere, in any city or at any level of government or business or Twitter or wherever that doesn't agree with that. Simply want to know where your money, my money goes. If I were a bazillionaire, I don't know, maybe I would be a little bit lax on that. But if I'm paying federal tax, they're taking money out of my paycheck, where does it go? It's a very simple question. It's not difficult. I don't understand. And if I were president, I would say, look, we're going to lower the federal tax rate to 1% until we get this figured out for everybody but the state of Minnesota, and anywhere we can prove without a question that this fraud occurred, now would keep the tax rate there or raise it. I know it's not that simple, believe me, but the point remains. We've been scammed for too long. I guarantee you this isn't the only scam being run with our tax dollars. I think the American people should rise up and say, we ain't paying August 5th or April 15th. We're not doing it. Why should we if you all are just going to waste it to enrich yourselves? And that's what bringing a bunch of frickin' Somali thieves into Minneapolis and other cities is doing. It's enriching the electorate of the elected officials, because you get a group of Somalis, they vote Democrat, you give them everything they want, and they repay that. It's bullshit. Don't pay your tax. Stand up, everybody, and say enough until we know where our money is going, or at least at minimum, until we see an elected official that knew about this or turned a blind eye to it, incarcerated, charged, perp walked, anything. Because right now, this is just bluster. Let's get somebody, a lot of people, in charge, arrested. Yeah, there have been arrests in the Somali community, and those people should not only be charged, convicted, and jailed, and then once they get out of jail, deported. But I want somebody at the top that knew. And it seems pretty easy to me. Maybe it's not. Screw taxes. Why are we paying taxes if they're just going to waste it? We'll see you tomorrow.